Welcome to Just a Thought with Amy Keys. We are here to inspire, educate, inform, and entertain. On today's episode, we are speaking of the very modern technology subject of social media and texting. And I am so happy to welcome back my friends, Kelly Henderson and Karyn Whittington.
Hi.
Hey there. Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, they came back because the friendship episode that we did a few weeks ago was so awesome. And we had such wonderful content that I thought they would be perfect guests for this topic. Fun fact, this topic was supposed to be with my husband, but he said he thought they should do it because he's heard your friendship podcast and thought you did so well. So here we are. I thought it would be super interesting to rattle off a little research that I have done with some statistics which I think are somewhat staggering, although I'm not surprised, if that makes any sense. Folks, for our daily use of social media, there are 5.24 billion, otherwise 64% of our population on social media. Of the world, the average internet use is 2 hours and 21 minutes a day, and the age of the heaviest users of social media is age 18 to 29.
Wow.
I know, right? As far as texting, 23 billion texts are sent a day, 8 trillion worldwide a year, 98% of texts are opened. Adults send 30 to 40 texts a day, teens 50 to 100 texts a day, and 90% of texts are read within 3 minutes. Did I do my homework?
You did do your homework. Well done. Well done. That's impressive numbers.
Yeah. What do you think of some of that?
It's pretty staggering.
I think, yes. I don't think we realized it at the time. That's a lot of time to spend sending texts, reading texts.
Looking at a screen.
A lot of time. Yes. Humbling.
Looking at a screen. And so the purpose and power of social media. What is the purpose and power in your eyes? Connection?
The intent is connection.
Right?
The power can be connection, but there's also a lot more that goes underneath that. It's kind of like the layers of an onion, right? The connection is what draws you in, but then you kind of get sucked into the all kinds of things, really, like the things that people post, then that can bring up feelings of envy.
Yes.
Being left out, all that kind of stuff that comes with it. And then you also see people, sometimes you see their inner dialogue that maybe we shouldn't see.
Really? Yeah, that's true. I think some of the positives of social media are networking. Professionally, especially, I have been able to help a lot of small businesses become bigger through networking through me, through my business. I've seen a great thing of that, great results of that. And sharing life events. That's what I am on there for. I want to see your cats and your dog and your kids' milestones and your anniversaries. That is truly why I log on.
Same. And I love recording it as a memory to myself because when that anniversary comes up in your memories, I might not be thinking about that great memory. And it's always fun when it kind of surprises you like, 8 years today.
I know. I love that.
You know, on that same note, when something comes up that your kids said when they were really little that you've forgotten about.
Yes.
Because you think when you're in that moment, you're going to remember that funny little thing forever. And some of those things you kind of forget over time because, they do other funny things and it just kind of goes, and then it pops up in your memories or your time hop or whatever you're using to look back on that particular day 19 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And you're now like grown children said something really, inspiring or funny or just all kinds of things. And sometimes pictures come up of my kids as the little bitty kids instead of the young adults that they are today. And that's something that I really like. Or even like between Amy and I, like there's all these like inside jokes. And sometimes I don't even know what why we posted something. I'm like, what were we even talking about?
I'm like, wow, you thought you were cool in 2008. That post was
It was so funny at the time, I'm
we,
sure.
We sure thought we were funny.
Well, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. But positive aspects too are advocacy. We can advocate for each other, fundraisers, all the little GoFundMe's and efforts to support others in their endeavors. I get invested in things that I see on there. I am completely attached to this man who rescues octopuses. I don't know how to say it, what it is, because he rescues them from, they're very bright and, as you know from a book we've read, remarkably bright creatures, fantastic book. But I am invested in these creatures that he's saving. And I always will watch his videos. It's the strangest thing that I never would know about. Also, like sickness journeys with Caring Bridge and some of those things,
yes.
you can really stay tuned in, and it does help you help others to know, if something's going on. It's really good for those purposes, I think.
Well, and good, like, PSAs, especially like the Caring Bridge sites and those posts about people's health, and something maybe they thought was no big deal turned into a big deal, and you may not have known about it. So that is a good way of harnessing the power of social media, because it does let people know things that you think is, you think it's just a mole, but maybe it's not. And it's like somebody else posted about it, so you went and got yours checked.
Right.
And that kind of stuff is super helpful, and I do like that part of it. It's also an easy way to let people know if you are on some sort of journey with your health or your parents' health or your child's health. It's a good way to let a lot of people know at the same time without having to have the same conversation over and over.
Yes. I love that you brought that up. When I had my big vertigo in 2025, I knew some people might have seen me and I wasn't myself, and I was kind of MIA for like 6 weeks. And I was able to really put myself in a vulnerable space to talk about it and write there on my Facebook page about, this is what it is. Let me give you this advice if this happens to you. I am like the vertigo hotline now. I have people who I don't even know who are like, so-and-so told me, but you might know what to do. And I love being able to help people with that because of social media. So it's nice. Or my friend Taylor, he is a veteran. Thank you for your service, Taylor, if you listen to this. And he is working on an effort as we speak for the gentleman who is often over by Park and Ridgeway. I
saw that post.
Okay. He's not helping him for himself. He is helping Chuck to get a vehicle so he can transport donations for other veterans. It's amazing. And in like 2 days, he raised $820 out of $1,000 goal. So what social media, I don't really know how we used to do that. A phone tree? How do we used to do that?
I don't know that we did. Yeah. At church, I guess it was announced and you passed the hat, but it's amazing what can be raised now. Yes. And shared. And you're right. You can tell a lot of people in a short period of time.
And we've all passed that gentleman.
Yep.
If you live in this area, we've all passed that gentleman.
He is out there.
He's out there every day. It doesn't matter how hot it is, how cold it is, if it's raining, he's there.
His story is incredible.
I didn't know the story until you posted it.
All the things he's done for people. So, political posts and the constant news cycle. We used to be in an age, or I grew up, and you two did too, in an age where you had to wait for the nightly news or the newspaper. Like, it was like, you got to wait for Dan Rather at 6:00, or you didn't know where the president was, or you didn't know what was going on in Congress or anywhere. Even the weather, you had to wait. And right now, we are just sponges of constant news all day. You just can refresh your phone and boom, you've got 14 forecasts and 27 news cycle opinions. And it's like, you don't know who's right, who's wrong. And it's a lot, in my opinion. It's a lot to have that constant pouring of information. And so I will be honest, people who post politically a lot, I hide. I can't do it. I don't want to know your political opinions. It is okay that you have them, but I want to see your dog or your trip.
Yeah, I avoid that. That's not where I'm going to discuss that.
Yeah. And there was a time where you did not know my political opinion, and you're two of my good friends. There's a time I might not know who you voted for. And now it's like everybody knows everything about everyone in that area, but we don't. And nobody on Facebook has ever affected my opinion on who I'm voting for locally, or even if it's like a new law that's coming in my little municipality. No one's ever changed my mind by their facials, by their Facebook politics.
I agree. I've never once posted a political anything. I've never engaged in political post, whether you're my friend, you're on the news cycle, or just some random page I happen to follow. I don't follow a lot of political people because I don't want to have this conversation, because to your point, there was a time we did not have those kind of conversations in public. And I kind of think it's like impolite company. You really shouldn't. My mother always told me that you never talk about church or politics at work. And I kind of feel like Facebook's the same thing. You shouldn't talk about church or politics.
It's a great way to go, Sheila.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I mean, she always told me that. I mean, that's just something that she said.
Advice.
And so I just kind of feel that really applies. I mean, I'm very proud of my religion, and I'm not ashamed of it by any stretch of the imagination. But to your point, I'm not going to convert somebody to Catholicism by shoving it down their throat on a Facebook post. Not to say that other people who post about Catholicism do that, but it's the same thing with politics. We're not going to change anybody's mind by posting it.
A devil's advocate, because that's what we do for each other. I do say that some religious posts I like sometimes a great Bible verse or a motivation or something like that I am all there for. But I know what you mean by people trying to convert you or make you not want to be what you are or be what they are. I get it.
And posting about your faith is one thing. I think it's when you get into religion, it's different. But I'm very grateful out of my Facebook friend list. I don't have many people that I think would come after me, but I definitely don't post anything political. And I just think it's something that we each have our own decision on how we vote. And I don't put yard signs in my yard. It's just, I don't advertise that.
Same. I've never put a yard sign in my yard. But to your point, what you said, I do post Bible verses and things like that.
Yeah, I like that.
But I meant you've seen the posts.
Oh, I know.
People post. It's not just a Bible verse. It's more, they're little jabs. They're little jabs, and I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. Even if I think it's funny or I agree with it, I still don't think that Facebook is the place to do it. You wouldn't put it on a bulletin board in a common area of a coffee house.
Right.
You wouldn't stand in a coffee house and profess your political beliefs to anyone who would listen to you. So why are you doing it on Facebook?
And I join special groups for things that are interesting to me, that affect me, a health concern.
Yes.
All that too, where
Very
I feel like there's much more of we all really want to discuss this. I just assume people want to see pictures of my cats or my trips as I with them. I'm just like you. It's just definitely not my platform.
Well, and there's the whole topic of keyboard courage. And I'm following and I'm invested in this young man named Will Roberts, his cancer journey. And a lot of people are invested in this young man. And his mom said recently on a post that they have thick skin and they can take it. They can take the things that people are saying to them in this journey. She said, people who do not know us are making opinions, assumptions, and judgments on our decisions for the health journey of our child. And you don't know us. So it's okay to not comment. It's okay to not comment. It's okay to not say something. And she actually posted that today. So it was so timely. I wanted to throw that in there because it's so true. We are so quick as a society to make opinions, assumptions, judgments about all the things, clothing, people's events, all the stuff. It's so easy to just look at from another lens that wasn't even there and judge or have opinions about someone's journey that you don't know about.
And you know what makes me sad is I I'm on a couple of parenting pages that I'm not on as much now that my kids are grown, where someone will start it off, please don't come at me.
Yeah.
But where they just know they're going to be attacked. I've got some special needs with the child that I'm on a special page for, and people really must fear being attacked by a group of people who are in a similar situation. And it just makes me sad. I just wouldn't post if that were me.
Or you can think it, you just don't have to say it.
Right.
But it
all
also,
the time.
That when people come for others in comments on those big group pages, and I'm on a couple of pages like that too, and they'll post something because they really do want some advice, and they want to know, I mean, whatever, they're asking anything, and maybe it is a young adult or somebody in college, and somebody will come in, well, they're an adult now. Well, okay, yes, they are an adult, but our young adults, they're adult-ish. They're legally adults.
Yeah.
But they're not truly on their own yet. Now, when they're on their own, that's a little bit a different conversation, but we're talking about kids, 18 to 25 here.
And every 18-year-old's different.
100%.
Mine 18-year-old might be more mature than another, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I get it. And there's just a lot of that keyboard courage. And sometimes I'll see people say stuff and I'm like, why did you say that? Like, I know you. I've seen you. You're a sweet person. Why'd you say that? I don't want to see that. Just like I can be your friend, and your religion is irrelevant to me. If you're a good, kind person, I don't need to know things. I don't need to know your politics. I don't want to see some of the things that people, come swinging on pages for. It's hard. My husband is very wise. And he says, and I've told Karyn this once before, I'm quoting him, we perceive a text or a post or information that's coming into us in the frame of mind we are in at that moment. So let's say you have dinner plans with me and you need to change them. Okay, no problem. But if I'd just been on the receiving end of something, or I've got a lot going on, I could be like, oh, that is just the worst text. I can't believe she sent me that. I cannot believe she will not go to dinner with me, where normally I wouldn't be that way, right? Or also with the punctuation confusion that I call it, people think you're not excited if you don't use an exclamation. Or I am a very animated person, and so are my texts and emails. Whereas one of my friends, her texts are very flat, and you're like, wow, you don't sound excited. She doesn't use any punctuation in her text. And she knows that she does it. She's like, I don't know. Even my husband says I do that. So it's kind of funny because I know her in person and she doesn't mean it. Whereas, you could look at me and say, oh, Amy, I like your shirt. And I can tell you're happy. But then you might say it on a text and it have an exclamation, but somebody could read that as you're yelling at them. It's just,
well, it's like when you text your child just the letter K and they come back, are you okay? Are you mad? Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just short for okay. But sometimes people do perceive it as a tone. And you're right. I think it can see what's going on in your mind, where sometimes someone's just trying to reply super quick.
Yeah.
I don't know that I am physically able to send a text without exclamation points
or emojis.
Yes. Although, unless I'm voice texting, and then you don't know what you're going to get.
I think that, the three of us specifically, we text like we talk. So a text conversation between the three of us sounds like this conversation or the other one that we did, because that's what our texts look like as well. But some people don't. Some people, their texts are completely different. And to your point, you that person, you're like, why are they not excited? Like, what you seem excited, but
yeah.
And then the kids today, if you use punctuation, that means you're mad at them. What?
Yeah.
I can't keep up with the ever changing,
I don't want to call out my boys here, and I won't mention names, but one of them will send you a text a mile long with every detail. You're going to know where he's been, what he ate, who he talked to, and what shoes he's got on. The other one is like his dad. It's like a 3-word sentence. On the way. Okay, see you later. So everybody has a different style, and none are wrong, but I think everybody needs to just calm down. It's okay. Or, if you don't text somebody back fast enough, and like I'm a quick reply. So sometimes I think people think something's wrong with me if I don't reply quickly. Like I've had people be like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we have a habit of apologizing. You, Karyn, especially, which is not a bad thing. But society has into this place of everything is so fast, everything is coming so quickly that, back when we had an answering machine, we would listen to it and call our people back, but we'd never say, "So sorry, I was in a meeting and I didn't call you, or I was at lunch." Like nobody owes me an apology. It's just what we do. I do it too. We're like, "Sorry, I haven't, so sorry." And culture's just become that way because we're used to everything so fast. Everything's coming in so quickly. You and I both do that a lot. And it's
So
not a bad thing that we do. We're just trying to be nice.
a tip I learned from being in corporate America, I don't apologize unless something's really like it's warranted. Instead of saying, "Sorry it took me so long to get this to you," I say, "Thanks for your patience."
Oh, that's a good one.
And
Let's try that.
it really has
We should.
flipped. It really has flipped that in me because you know what? I got to it when I got to it. It wasn't that I was not doing it or I
Yeah.
didn't want to do it. I had 10 other tasks to do before I could get to that. So sometimes when I get to whatever the project is, it might be tomorrow. It could be this
Yeah.
afternoon, whatever the case may be. But I say, thank you for your patience.
I love it.
Or thank you for, insert whatever you're saying here.
Karyn and I are going to have so many thank you for your patience between the two of us because we both do that a lot. We're just trying to be nice. But I like the thank you for your patience.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And I think I just know maybe I've read part of it and I didn't get to finish it.
Yep.
And I really intended to reply sooner, but I didn't have a second.
Yep.
And I will voice text, like I said, a lot, but then that can turn into a stream of
Yep.
consciousness that I wasn't really planning on sending. So I wait till the timing's better. But luckily, unless someone's saying I need to know immediately, I don't even know why I would feel the need to apologize now that you bring it up.
It's a habit. It's totally habit, and I'm guilty too. I'm totally guilty.
Yeah, a lot of people do it, but I think you and I probably do it more than others because we're just trying to be nice and sensitive.
Well, I want people to know they're important. And
yes, and you mattered, and I promise I didn't forget about you. And sometimes, honestly, I do forget, and I'm like, "Sorry, I forgot to reply to this," or "I thought I replied and never pushed send." I do that.
I do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Or I see something, I'll see it on my watch and I won't be able to answer right away. I think, "Oh, I'll get to that in a minute." Well, guess what? It goes away.
Yep.
And then it's not a red bubble anymore because I have a thing about the red bubbles on my phone and I need to take care of them immediately. You're never going to find my phone with like 72 unread texts. Just not going to happen.
No. I got to have it all clear by the time I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
What pressure that we put on ourselves.
See,
like you said, what did our moms do? What did our grandmothers do? Can you imagine all the communications we have in one day?
Oh, it's a lot.
We're not meant to have that. I saw an Instagram reel not too long ago, and it's something along the lines of that. This, the phrase "it takes a village." Typical villages were 150 people, so we're only supposed to have 150 people in our village, but we have the whole wide world.
Sure do. Okay, so fear of missing out, comparisons, and vague posts. Those are like a wide variety of things. I do believe comparing is inevitable online. It's inevitable. You see what other people are doing, what they have, where they're going. And although it doesn't matter, it's hard not to be like, "Oh," and it's not necessarily negative. It might be like, "Oh, I want that shirt. That's a cute shirt." Text a friend, "Where'd you get it?" But I don't know if you have read Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado. I highly recommend this book. My Monday morning study is reading it right now. And coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, we covered a chapter. It's about if only. And he talks about how we stand at the banks of the if only river. There's the Mississippi, there's the Amazon, all these rivers. But we as people stand at the if only river and we look across the river and we think, if only I could lose 5 pounds. If only I could go on that trip. If only I had a nice husband like that lady. I didn't mean that like my husband is not nice. I just want to make sure.
Your husband is the nicest person on the planet.
I meant as an example. Or, "Oh, I want a puppy. There's a puppy. I want a puppy. If only I could have those things, would my life be better?" And the answer is no, because you need to be content with yourself. And anything you see online isn't going to make you more content. It might make you happy if you have a nice husband like mine. You both do. But I'm just saying in general, or someone might be like, oh, I would want something other people have. If only I could have it, my life would be better. And then you get to the better part, and then it's like then you want more. You're always hungry for more. And I think social media really puts an emphasis on that of more, more, more.
Oh, I feel like we even kind of talked about that with friendship too. It's everybody's highlight reels. So yes, this person went on an amazing trip. This person just planted an amazing garden, or she's got beautiful peonies growing. This person, their child is getting married. This person, their child is accomplishing all these things. This person ran a marathon, but they're putting their highlight reels out. But then the person who ran the marathon might be having some financial struggles.
Right.
I mean, we just never know all that's going on. And I think sometimes we forget that there's a whole package there.
Yep.
And we all have stuff going on in our life that's great, and all stuff, that we probably don't put out there.
Oh,
unless
always.
we vague post.
The vague posts are rough. And, that leads me to talk about, how do you navigate when somebody is completely different in person than they are online? Have you experienced that? Because I have.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. It's very hard to balance because sometimes it's somebody you might know fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you worked with them, maybe you went to college with them, maybe you have kids in the same age, but you knew them fairly well at one point, and now you see this side of this person on social media that you're like, who is this person? Because maybe people don't know this, but when you comment on, we'll say a news organization post, your friends can see that. It kind of just shows up in the algorithm how it shows up. And so I'm going to make up some crazy, just like, Sally Jones, because I don't know anybody named Sally.
Sorry if there's a Sally Jones.
Sorry, Sally Jones.
It's not you.
Sally Jones is my friend, and she comments on a news organization's post about politics. And it is just off the rails. But the Sally I know doesn't talk like that. She doesn't talk like that in real life. She doesn't go around telling her friends this, that, and the other, but she is bold as bold can be on Facebook. And
it's rough.
It's rough. I usually hide Sally at that point.
Yeah. It's hard to not unsee that.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's when I just say, just be kind if you can. It's hard. I know. It's hard. What about navigating when you've been unfriended? It's a touchy subject. I will also throw out there that I don't keep a tally of Facebook friends. Like, I'm not sitting here. I think I have like 2,000 Facebook friends. And a lot of those people are people who know me through my business. So we've become friends or contacts you there. Or a lot of people find me online personally because that's where they think my business is. But I love all of you. I'm not saying you're not special. But having said that, just last week, I have a super sweet client. She wanted to tag me on a painting. And she texted me, she goes, for some reason, I can't tag you. And I said, oh, that's weird. You have to be Facebook friends to tag me. And we realized we weren't Facebook friends anymore. I didn't unfriend her. I would have zero reason to do that. And she had no idea what happened. And so we don't know what happened. And that has happened to me before on my business page. I have lost people and I have no idea how or why.
Makes you wonder.
Like, why would I remove a nice client from my Facebook work business page? I mean, well, there's some people that have been removed intentionally for proper reasons, but I would have no reason to remove you from there. If anything, I want to add you. So some of that can be organically happening, and I don't know about the World Wide Web and how all that works and algorithms, but it can be kind of awkward when maybe you've had to let someone go, or I try to do more hiding though, just because I don't want to because it's an outward sign of I don't want to associate with someone. And that is so uncomfortable.
I think for me, like you, I don't even know how many friends I have. I couldn't come within 1,000 or 100 people of telling you how many friends I have. I have no clue.
Same.
But I think it shows up in people you may know sometimes, and it'll show up.
Yes, that's how
I'll use Karyn as an example. Karyn, would you like to add Karyn as your friend?
Yes.
And I think, oh wait, Karyn and I are already friends on Facebook. Now Karyn and I are relatively new friends, but we're friends on Facebook. And I would think, why does she unfriend me?
So weird. That's usually how I find, or I'll see someone comment on a post of a mutual friend, and it'll be like, you can tell if it's a friend or not.
Yeah, it'll say like add friend or something like that.
And I'm like, that is the weirdest. So I'm just nice, and it's really none of my business if they have. But sometimes I want to be like, hey, I did not unfriend you. Like, it's not me.
Yeah.
Is it social media? I did not do it. What is doing this? So I don't know.
Just makes you wonder how many people out there.
Yeah.
It's gone in either direction.
Yeah.
I don't keep tabs.
Me either.
I have no idea.
I only know because of what you just said or a comment that I'll see, because I don't have time to go.
Or the person who couldn't tag you.
Right.
It's like,
yeah, I'm like, that's how I find out that stuff. And it's just weird. Well, how do y'all think that AI will change the landscape of social media? That is such a technical sounding question, but AI is here and it's not going anywhere.
I mean, obviously we know that it's going to now, based on what we've talked about here, we're going to have some new things pop up on our phone because it's listening. I think that it's going to change it, but I think I know now there's that little button that has like the outline of two people, and I have to push that to now really see what's going on with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like my feed has gotten much more. Just other things are in there because I'm sure that they're throwing darts trying to figure out what I might be interested in. So,
well, sometimes it's hard to tell what's real. I do find that our youth, especially my youngest son, he can tell if something is AI immediately. He does not like AI, right? He's like that generation that's like, why do we do this? I don't understand. Don't use search engines, and like, don't use those that are, use old ones. He just doesn't like it. But he'll be like, Mom, that person has 6 fingers, or her face is not real on the right side. I'm like, oh, well, I need to get my readers out because I didn't even notice.
Hands are one thing you look at.
Yeah,
yes.
Hands. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will notice, I will read something that seems a little shocking. And then when I start seeing in the comments, AI, that's AI.
I always look for AI now.
Now I'm starting to look at it more. I need to have proof that it's not AI versus thinking it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like AI is going to get better. So the ability to look more real is going to fool us a little more.
And it's already so real. I mean, sometimes people post these pictures and these things and you think, wow.
Yeah.
And then, to your point, you see it in the comments, or you really start looking, or your young adult children tell you that's AI, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank goodness for our youth.
Thank goodness.
Another topic is tests online. When people take these tests, now, if you've taken them, no shade. And if you listeners have taken them, no shade. But things like when you do something that will spell out your birthday with your name, and it'll show everybody if you like coffee versus tea, and daytime versus nighttime, all those little things. I don't know if people know this, and I did do the research on this, but and my husband has mentioned this for years, and he says never take the tests. And he's a tech guy, and I honestly, folks, if he says do or don't do something with technology, I would go with it. But he says that, a lot of times that is harvesting your information, like your dog name or your maiden name, if you're using those in there, or if you're using your oldest child's birth month, whatever.
Ooh, or your first car.
Mm-hmm. It can get account recovery information. Like, when your bank is like, what's your mother's maiden name? That can harvest that information and you'll never know it. I think the majority, from what I have done research on, is that more of it is for marketing, and that stuff is going to affect your algorithm. If you put on there that you prefer ice cream, guess what? Hey, TCBY, Baskin Robbins, you're going to start seeing all that. If you say you're a dog lover, you're going to start seeing dog stuff. And I think people need to be mindful of giving people their information like that. I mean, I'm sure those tests are fun, but I'm a pretty heavy user of social media, and I've never, ever taken a test because of who I live with. And he warns me not to.
Well, and another thing too is, as you know, my husband puts his birth date a couple days earlier than his actual birthday. So then he starts getting all the happy birthday. But he will say, just in an industry where they want to protect your information, that all people need is your name and not even the year, but just the day of your birthday.
Very
the month
interesting.
and the date. So, but then honestly, on his actual birthday, when his wife posts happy birthday to my sweet husband,
everybody knows.
They're still going to be able to figure out his birthday, especially if it's a milestone birthday. They can get the year from there too.
Well, okay. Social media platforms, this is more homework I did. So 84% of people use YouTube, 71% use Facebook, 50% use Instagram, and 37% use TikTok. Now, I know there's other platforms, but I just went with like those for a general gauge. And I was really surprised that 84% of people use YouTube.
I think that's
really, that's hot.
Staggering number, because
amazing.
That's not my preferred place. I mean, do I watch a YouTube video every now and then? Of course, but that's not where I'm going to spend my time on social media.
Yeah, and I look at the Facebook being 71% and Instagram being 50%, and I think, okay, I apply that to my business pages, and I have a very heavy following, presence, loyalty, all that from clients on Facebook. Instagram, I cannot get traction. I have never been able to. I don't know why, but it is interesting that there are fewer users in Instagram than Facebook, but they're both owned by Meta. They're the same. They're owned by the same thing. You'd think people would, but I gravitate towards Facebook because I find it easier to use.
I do too. And then I do have a few friends that are not on Facebook, so I enjoy going on Instagram and looking, but I usually have to have a reason to go there, or I click on something that takes me there. I just don't wake up and go, let me look on Instagram.
Yeah.
I should, but I just don't.
Now, I am not on Snapchat. I got on it when my oldest was in high school to see what it was all about. And I remember one time he was like, this girl is sending me pictures of her ceiling. And that is something I don't care about and a waste of my time. And I thought, wow, I don't want to see those. I mean, I saw the picture. It was literally her ceiling fan because they just snapped the picture and send it. And he thought, this is of no interest to me. And so I think my boys use it a little bit for some communicating, but not for like texting or whatnot. And I'm not on TikTok.
Same.
I'm not on TikTok.
I was on TikTok temporarily, and I found it was just too addictive.
I just can only handle so many forms of social media.
It was so smart. I mean, you watch one video of kittens dancing to classical music, and then that's all you're going to get.
Yep.
It was that algorithm was so tuned in to what I liked that I remember it was during COVID, and I would think, I have been watching kitten videos for an hour. I stop. So I just had to take it off.
But
my phone.
You love kittens.
I do, but I also, there's a real world too.
Here's the quiz. It's just a one answer question, actually. But do you know when modern social media first had its big debut? Take a guess.
I think Facebook came out in the early 2000s.
2004.
But what was the one before that?
MySpace.
And then Friendstar. There's all these.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know that one. I remember people talking about MySpace. I didn't do that.
1997 is when it's considered the era of modern social media. There was other forms like email and some things, but that was still kind of rough back then. But I thought that was a fun fact that 1997 was the year that was really starting. I do notice things about social media, like when you walk around, people are so addicted to their phones. And I can be guilty of that as well. But I noticed on a college campus this fall with tours of my youngest, on a campus, I looked around and I said to my husband, all these kids are staring at their phone. A, they're going to trip and fall. But B, they are missing out on interacting. In college, when I would walk from one side of campus to the other, I'm seeing my friends. Hey, are we meeting at the library tonight? Are we meeting here tonight? What are we doing? How you doing? And I did not see a lot of that. And it made me sad for that generation, for this younger generation. But it's so hard to not look at your phone. I get it. And that age, that is what they've grown up with and all they know. So no shade on you younger folks, but I do think that is a misfortune for that generation.
I would agree with that. I think that we're all guilty of it, all of us,
Yeah.
of being in our phones. And to me, there's nothing sadder than going to a restaurant and seeing a group of people, whether it's a family or a group of women or a group of men, and sitting around a table and everybody's got their phone out. Why don't we go to dinner and get on our phones? Like, that's so silly to me. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine personally, but we can put our phones down to have dinner. We can put our phones down to walk to a class or walk into a building. But again, we're all guilty of it. We've all done it. So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I've never picked up my phone at the dinner table, or that I've never been on my, texting or doing something as I'm walking into a building. But I mean, honestly, I have to put rules around myself for that. So that I don't do that. I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb at night. It's on Do Not Disturb right now because I can give you my time to dedicate to this. A lot of people can't, though. A lot of people truly can't. They need that. It's like a dopamine hit. They need that buzz of getting the text notifications or Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok or
I don't
all
have
the things.
any of my notifications turned on. I don't want to know.
Yeah, and with group texts, I'm in a lot of different group texts, and I have them all silenced.
Oh.
I love every single soul in every single one of those. But I got some chatty friends now, and sometimes, I'll be like, oh, wow, 19 notifications. I didn't have my phone for 6 minutes. And it's one of my groups, and people are laughing or loving or emojiing and all that stuff. And can you imagine going the bzz, bzz every single time? Oh, my goodness, wow, I would not like that.
I love it too when my boys will call us out too, because sometimes my husband and I will be on phones, and I can always justify, well, I'm looking up the movie time or whatever. And my oldest he's real good at saying, okay, screenagers.
Screenagers. Oh, that's adorable. That is so him to say that too. That is so cute. Well, what do y'all think would happen if social media just went away? I mean, we know it's not. But if we zoomed back pre-1997.
The 1900s?
Yeah. Wow.
I hope that maybe we would really be, I'm thinking, still try to get together, but it'd be a lot harder. We'd have to have the phone tree and leave messages, and it would be crazy. But I don't know. Part of me wouldn't 100% hate it.
I wonder
what we would do with our free time, though.
I would go old school because I'm kind of an old school person anyway about a lot of things in the neighborhood. I like to see my neighbors. I don't want to text you. I want to see you on my walk. So I don't know. I think the world was just a little warmer and happier, not warmer temperature wise, heart and soul wise, just a little warmer.
I wonder what the people that have the desire to be a little much of a screen warrior, what they would do with their angst. But
yeah, and
I would love it. I'd much rather be in real life.
Me too. And, when you go old school, I mean, imagine we had 3-way on the phones. Remember that? Like right now we have group text and you can have all these people in it. I remember when I'd have to have a friend call me and then I'd have to put them on the little hang up thing and then reach to another person on the phone and we'd all be like, oh, 3 of us are on the phone conversation.
And we thought we were so cool. We thought it was so cool that we could do that. And you could talk to 2 friends at one time.
Yeah. When I got my first cell phone, it had a big bag on it with an antenna on my car because my dad decided in my senior year of college when those came out that I should have one. But I had gone all the way back from Memphis to Knoxville dozens of times for college without any phone in my car. No way for my parents to track me on Life 360 to make sure I was getting there okay. I tell my kids that and they're mind blown.
Mm-hmm.
I would leave Memphis, drive 5.5 hours with a time change to Knoxville, and they didn't know where I was. And they just count on me to call from the wall phone in the dorm, if I could remember, to let them know I got there. I mean, that is like a foreign concept to me, and I used to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
wild.
we're the generation that gets to see the before and after. Our kids' generations are only going to, based on our stories, which they're like, okay, boomer, that's all they're going to know. I wonder how because we want to know when they get somewhere, as we were talking about Life 360 before we went on air, that we still kind of like to know where our kids are when they're traveling somewhere. We like to know, and our parents were fine. We were fine. But it's nice to have that peace of mind.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine my kid driving 5.5 hours and not knowing where they are.
Oh, gosh, remember when they first start driving, you want to know where they are every minute, even within the same zip code.
Yeah.
I drove from West Memphis, Arkansas to Jacksonville, Florida with a friend. We were both 17 by myself. Now, it's 4-lane highway now all the way. It was not 4-lane highway back in the 80s when we did this. And I had to call my mom when I got there. I mean, it was a very common thing. I made that drive multiple times a year with no cell phone because that didn't exist. Cell phones didn't exist. I had to call my mom. She worked for a company that had an 800 number. And so when I went through every major city, I would have to, when I stopped to use the restroom or get gas or whatever, I'd have to call and go through the operator and just to tell her, I'm in Birmingham, I'm in Atlanta, I'm at the Florida state line. And then when I got to my father's, I'm like, I'm at dad's.
Wow.
You know? Wow. But that's how we did it. And that's the closest thing you'd have. And not so fun fact, I totaled my car on one of those trips.
Wow.
In Jasper, Alabama. And we got someone to help us kind of fix it so it was drivable, and we continued driving to Florida.
Gosh. Yeah, just imagine when you had to use a payphone.
I know.
At night, find some change, find a payphone, and then call home.
Put a quarter in.
Yes.
I kept quarters in my car.
I remember when it was a dime.
Same. I do too. I remember it was a dime as well.
I don't know what it would cost now, or do they even exist?
They don't exist.
You don't see them, no. They might somewhere.
We were on a college tour recently, and we saw one, but it looked like too modern. It didn't look like a phone booth.
I saw one in New York City the last time I was there, and it was about 8 years ago. And it was an actual working phone. We took a picture of it because we didn't think our children had ever seen one.
Well, y'all, it's time for rapid fire.
Okay.
I got some good ones on this one. So, your most used emoji?
The smiley face with hearts around it.
Probably the laughing, like the sideways laughing.
Yeah, you do that when you text me. Mine is the double pink heart. I think that's my favorite.
Yep, sideways laughing.
Who do you follow most as far as content creators or pages? Is there one that you want to follow every day, or you check in with every day, or you really are super into seeing what they're doing?
I'm all over the place. It really depends on my mood. Some days it's food, some days it's travel, some days it's ragdoll cats. You just never know.
I don't think I have one specific person, but every now and then I'll think, oh, I haven't seen anybody post in a while. And sometimes it's their whatever they call shadow banned or whatever. It's just not showing up in my feed. And until I go find their page because of the way things were. But I don't have anyone that I'm super invested in. But I will say sometimes I think, I wonder if they had their baby or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that person I haven't seen them post in a while, and I have to go find them. And so I get invested in complete strangers.
You and I are going to be invested in Danny Austin building the house in Nashville.
Absolutely.
We're going to text daily when they get it going.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I am totally immersed in the octopus guy, though.
I didn't even know about the octopus guy.
It's new. It started a couple days ago. Do you post or lurk more?
Well, I mean, I don't post every day, so I don't know that I lurk. I scan. I'm just a quick scanner.
I like that. Yeah.
I think a lurker is someone who never posts, never comments, but knows everything going on.
Yeah.
That would be my husband.
That's a lurker. That's a lurker. If you engage, I don't think you're a lurker.
Yes.
But even though I don't post every day, I will like your post or comment on your post or and other people's too. So I don't think that makes me a lurker, but I don't post every day or every week.
Oh, I'm married to a lurker, and he'll admit it. The other day, Saturday, we were at a party, and we were leaving, and I go, "Oh, I wonder where so and so was." He's like, "They're at the beach," and I was like, "How did you?" Now, if you know him, you know that's hysterical, right? Bless his heart. But I was like, "The beach? How did you know that?" He's like, "Well, Facebook." I was like, "You do go on there, you do." And his like profile picture is Walter White from Breaking Bad. And it's been that since like 2010.
Forever.
He acts like he's never on there. And he'll say, "Oh, I saw," or "This happened with so-and-so." I'm like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "Facebook." or he says he knows when I post something. He like, I was like, "What'd you think of that?" Or "What'd you think of that picture of the dog?" or whatever. He's like, "Oh," I go, "You need to make sure you see it." He'll be like, "Oh, I already saw it." I was like, "Well, how did you see it?" He's like, "Well, I get notified when you post." And I'm like, "You do? Do you follow me, creepy guy? What's going on here?" So anyway, he's a lurker. He will never post. He does not want a social media footprint at all.
And he doesn't comment. And he doesn't like.
No, and he's married to someone who has a huge social media footprint. So opposites do attract. PDA on social media, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
When people are like, "I love you, love you, love you, love you," like, it's kind of like a little much sometimes. That's the kind of PDA.
No.
Can I be totally honest? I mean, it makes me wonder who they're trying to convince.
That's fair.
That's true, because sometimes when you hear about, like, in these crime mysteries, somebody would have, like, before he killed his wife, he was very smushy gushy in his posts.
Bought her a new boat.
Yeah.
That he could use later. I've watched I'm a big true crime person, so.
You're right. You never know.
Interesting. Pictures that stay on the page or stories that disappear? What do you use more?
Mostly a post, because I'll be honest, I don't remember if stories come back in your memories.
They don't.
Okay. So if it's something I really want to remember, I do a post.
It depends. I post my dog a lot. So sometimes I'll post pictures of her in stories because I don't want to overwhelm people with the love of my dog.
I do have to have a little criticism of, you have not had Winnie Wednesday enough.
Okay.
You're not consistent.
I know I'm not consistent.
I want
Winnie
Wednesday. You can tag me on it every time and go, "Here, Amy, here's your Winnie Wednesday." But you've been slacking a little on the Winnie Wednesdays.
I've been putting in stories the last few weeks.
Well, there you go. See, stories disappear. Late night scroller or morning scroller?
I do both. And then I don't really do anything in the middle of the day. Like,
that's me.
I have some time in the morning. I get up early enough to allow myself some time to just sit and be. And part of that time, sometimes I scroll, and then I don't touch it all day during the workday. And then again at night, late at night.
So I did my homework, and I did some research about the effects of late night scrolling. Avoid 1 to 2 hours before sleeping. Avoid scrolling on your phone. It suppresses melatonin, disrupts circadian rhythm. Suggestions are: use a filter, switch on dim, or wear amber tinted blue looking glasses, which I don't wear amber glasses before bed. Mental stimulation can harm sleep as much as light itself. Advice, and I am not kidding on this advice. Number 1, instead, listen to a podcast. I was like, all right. Read a physical book or write or reflect. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I read a physical book before bed, I can't make it past 2 pages and I'm out. But if I'm scrolling, that blue light has got me, I guess, stimulated, and I can do it for hours. So I thought those were good tips. Do you have pet peeves about texting?
Texting.
While you're thinking, I'll do mine. I don't like it when people who I have never texted with before don't tell me who they are. Tell me who you are, please. I'm sure you have a lovely name.
See, I don't get a lot of texts from people I don't know, but you do, and I understand, so that's a little bit different. I think for me, I don't really have any pet peeves so much as, sometimes burst texters. annoy me a little bit, but it's not really a pet peeve. It's more of like, oh my gosh, can you just string together the paragraph instead of sending me 12 texts when you could have just put it in 4 sentences?
Guilty. I'm guilty.
Well, you don't do that every day, every time you text me.
Yeah.
You usually...
That's when I've got a lot to say in a quick amount of time.
Well, and, to what you said earlier, there's a do not disturb on text. And I mean, I put you on do not disturb before. If I'm busy,
yeah,
I can't. And usually it's not like life-changing text. It's something
you're out to dinner with your family and you don't want the bzz, bzz sound 20 times at dinner.
Or, I mean, I'm working and I'm on a call and, it's not something that urgent. I mean, most of the time, most of our texts are not urgent. They might feel like they are to us, but
we feel like they're a priority, though.
They should be. They should be a priority.
What about you, Karyn?
Well, I feel like I am my own pet peeve with my voice texting. And then I try to go back when I have a second and edit it so it makes sense. So words that I swear I didn't say that are in there, I can correct. But yeah, I think sometimes when someone knows you're waiting, I've got, we all maybe have that friend that expects to reply immediately, but then takes forever to reply. But then I also have to just, again, give people patience and grace, and because you never know what's going on in someone's day.
And I always find it odd that people, I don't find it odd. It's just nature of social media is, you wouldn't call me at 3 a.m., but you might text me if you're up at 3 a.m. And that is another thing about social media. As a business owner, I get a lot of texts in the middle of the night when people are scrolling or they've thought of something at last minute and they're like, oh, I just need to text her now before I forget. And I get it. My phone is on silence from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So it's no problem. But I do know that society has changed in that way too. I try to not text people after 10 o'clock-ish. But sometimes if I know you silence your phone, I can text you, you'll get it in the morning. And I just think we're just used to doing that.
Well, or if you've got a night owl friend, you can text me.
Right.
It's not going to wake me up, but I might see it.
Right. Because you're solving all the problems.
That's when I do my best problem solving.
Yeah.
It's when most people are sleeping.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anything else about social media that you want to add to this podcast?
I think this is great. I'm glad you did it. I think sometimes it's healthy to take a detox. I have done that, or I will take it off my phone because I find how many times I reach for it. It's kind of like when your power's out and you forget and you keep going to hit the light switch and you're like, it's off, it's off. I will take it off my phone and realize how many times I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, pumping gas, that maybe I could spend that time doing other things.
I think it becomes a very big habit. And I agree with the not filling every second that you have with the phone. And most of us have the TV on a show, we're watching something, and we also have the phone in our hand. I mean, do one or the other.
Oh, poor brains.
And ladies, please don't be on your phones in parking lots.
Oh, that's so dangerous.
Please be careful for many reasons. And not that everybody needs safety Amy here, but a few weeks ago, I was in a parking lot and a gentleman and his pregnant wife were walking through the parking lot, both on their phones. And there were cars everywhere backing out. It was a grocery store. So they're all, it's crazy, those lots. And I thought, they both had no situational awareness. And I do think that this does take our situational awareness. Sometimes I'm guilty. Sometimes I'll arrive somewhere and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to text when I drive. So let me do this real quick. And, or I'll check it in the parking lot. And then I have not had situational awareness, which is very unsafe for your own protection. So there's that. And college students, watch where you're walking and look up from your phones and say hi to your friends because they want to see your sweet faces. And that's a wrap, y'all. Everybody, you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and now Audible. And if you would like to reach me about being on the podcast, have suggestions, comments, information, or guests you recommend, I would love to hear from you at amykeys@gmail.com. That is AMYKEYS podcast@gmail.com. Till next time.